Wait, hold on. Is that blood coming from her chest?
What?
Music.
Honey, we're gonna fix you up just fine.
Hey Grey's Anatomy fans, welcome back to Grey's Anatomy Official. Get ready for another emotional roller coaster as Season 22, Episode 5, titled Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, airs Thursday, November 6, 2025 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC and streams the next day on Hulu. After Episode 4's intense fallout, the doctors of Grey Sloan Memorial are stepping into even more emotional territory. Meredith Grey has officially returned to Boston to continue her Alzheimer's research after a tense confrontation with Jackson Avery. Meanwhile, Teddy faces the consequences of her new relationship with Cass, and Owen begins a surprising new chapter with Nora. Now, Episode 5 puts Jo Wilson front and center. Heavily pregnant and still saving lives, Jo takes on a high-stakes case involving an expectant mother facing dangerous complications, pushing her to balance her duty as a doctor and her fears as a soon-to-be mom. Elsewhere, Blue and Jules treat a diabetic patient whose condition spirals out of control, testing their teamwork like never before. And Simone uncovers a shocking patient secret that could lead to a major emotional reveal. With new medical emergencies, romantic entanglements, and ethical dilemmas, Episode 5 promises to be classic Grey's Anatomy, heart-wrenching, hopeful, and unforgettable. Plus, off-screen, Ellen Pompeo made headlines by bringing her 3 rarely seen kids to the 2025 World Series, reminding fans she's not just TV's Meredith Grey, she's a proud mom too. So mark your calendars, Grey's fans. Episode 5 is about to deliver the drama, the emotion, and the unforgettable moments we live for. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 release date. A new medical crisis unfolds as Jo takes charge. Check out what's coming next. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5, titled Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, is set to air on November 6, 2025 on ABC. Following an emotional Episode 4, fans can expect new medical challenges, emotional twists, and major developments in Meredith, Jo, and Teddy's storylines. The long-running medical drama Grey's Anatomy continues to tug at heartstrings and keep viewers hooked with every episode. Season 22 has already given fans a roller coaster of emotions, and Episode 4, titled Goodbye Horses, ended on a note that left everyone eager to see what happens next. With Meredith making a major decision and relationships shifting once again, all eyes are now on Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 recap. Before diving into what's next, let's take a quick look back at Episode 4. Goodbye Horses saw Meredith Grey in a heated argument with Jackson before deciding to return to Boston to continue her Alzheimer's research. Meanwhile, Teddy had an emotional reunion with Nora, as the two reflected on their current lives. Elsewhere, Link was finally discharged and expressed his eagerness to get back to work, while the hospital continued to buzz with complicated medical cases and personal conflicts. The episode captured the classic Grey's Anatomy mix of heartbreak, hope, and humanity, leaving fans ready for more. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 Plot Preview. The upcoming episode will once again put Jo Wilson in the spotlight. As a heavily pregnant doctor, she faces one of her most challenging cases yet, treating an expectant mother dealing with complications. This storyline is expected to show Jo balancing her professional and personal life under immense pressure. Meanwhile, Blue and Jules find themselves in a tough situation while caring for a diabetic patient whose condition takes an unexpected turn. The complications in their case will likely test their teamwork and quick decision-making. Adding to the drama, Simone makes a surprising discovery about her patient, which could lead to a major emotional reveal. The new episode promises to dive deep into how doctors at Grey Sloan handle not just medical emergencies, but also personal dilemmas that come with their work. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 release details. The 5th episode, titled Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, will air on Thursday, November 6, 2025 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time on ABC. Fans who prefer streaming can catch the episode on Hulu the following day. For those looking to stream, Hulu offers multiple subscription options. You can get the Disney Plus and Hulu bundle with ads for $12.99 per month or enjoy an ad-free experience with the premium plan for $19.99 per month. What to expect next in Grey's Anatomy Season 22? The emotional moments from Episode 4 are likely to carry over into the next chapter. Meredith's move back to Boston will continue to impact her colleagues, especially Jackson, who has just returned to work in plastics. Fans may also see how Owen's dinner with Nora and Teddy's decision to mend things with Cass develop further. With Joe's case taking center stage and several relationships evolving in the background, Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 5 is set to be another emotionally charged and medically intense hour of television. Grey's Anatomy star Ellen Pompeo brings her 3 rarely seen kids to the World Series. Ellen Pompeo, 55, is best known for her over 20 years on the ABC hit drama Grey's Anatomy, but to daughters Stella and Sienna and son Eli, Pompeo is best known as Mom. The stunning TV star and her husband of 18 years, Chris Ivory, are known to keep a low profile and value their privacy. Public outings with her 3 kids are rare for Pompeo, but TV's Meredith Grey made an exception to watch her hometown team compete in the 2025 World Series. Pompeo, Ivory, and their 3 children were spotted at Game 5 of the World Series. While the Dodgers suffered a crushing 6-2 loss to the mighty Toronto Blue Jays, Grey's Anatomy fans were winners with an Ellen Pompeo and family sighting. Pompeo looked ballpark chic in glasses, a newsboy cap, and Dodger blue attire, while Ivory and the kids all sported on-brand blue as well. Pompeo's kids beamed from ear to ear as they entered the World Series game and rooted on the boys in blue. "Beautiful family," commented one fan while another added, "Their kids are getting so big now." Ellen Pompeo, family life. The Massachusetts-born actress and husband Chris Ivory, a music producer and manager, married in 2007 after being introduced through mutual friends. While Pompeo and Ivory's kids aren't fixtures at mom and dad's red carpet events, the Ivory kids have been regulars on the Grey's Anatomy set, even visiting to watch Ellen direct an episode. The stylish kids have also joined mom and dad for fashion shows in New York and Europe. Pompeo, who has been the star of Grey's Anatomy for over 2 decades, took a step back from her lead role on the show in Season 19 to focus on other projects. Pompeo still narrates the show and serves as an executive producer, and does appear in Season 22 of the beloved Shonda Rhimes-produced series. Despite her continued involvement in Grey's Anatomy, Pompeo told People magazine she's super happy to have taken a step back from her role on the show, noting that spending more time with her kids was at the top of her to-do list. Judging by the smiles on her kids' faces as they got ready to take in Game 5 of the World Series, they're as happy as she is to have more time together. Jesse Williams' return to Grey's Anatomy brings tense reunion for Jackson and Meredith. Jesse Williams' highly anticipated return to Grey's Anatomy had Jackson and Meredith at odds before Ellen Pompeo left Grey Sloan Memorial again. During the Thursday, October 30th episode of the hit ABC series, Jackson Williams was back at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital to help with a reconstructive surgery. His first interaction with Meredith Pompeo was far from perfect after she saw Tom Korsik's, Greg German, published paper about Alzheimer's research. Meredith pointed out that Korsik's work didn't factor in female patients, but Jackson fired back at her criticism of his mentor. Ultimately, Jackson needed Meredith's help with his procedure, so they had to scrub in together after their confrontation. By the end of the episode, Jackson and Meredith found common ground. Meredith also realized she needed to continue her research, which meant she could no longer be as present at the hospital as she was right after the explosion that kicked off Season 22. Every star who's left Grey's Anatomy, where are they now? Pompeo, 55, began playing Meredith in 2005 when Grey's Anatomy premiered on ABC. After hinting at her exit for years, Pompeo confirmed in September 2022 that she would have a reduced role for Season 19. The actress starred in 8 episodes that season before exiting the show as a series regular in 2023. "I'm only going to Boston, and I'll probably be here next week," Meredith told her friends and co-workers before boarding a plane with her 3 children. Pompeo is expected to be featured on screen for at least 7 episodes this season, appearing in the first 4 so far. Deadline reported that Pompeo's screen time could grow, with the season planning to air 18 total episodes. Grey's Anatomy is already reducing the minimum guarantees for its veteran cast members to 14 out of the show's 18 episodes per season. While some fan favorites won't appear in as many as 4 episodes each, Katerina Scorsone's absence was doubled after her character, Amelia, chose to take a sabbatical. Deadline subsequently reported that Scorsone's break will last until 2026. Elsewhere in Thursday's episode, Link, Chris Carmack, missed working and found a way to help Owen, Kevin McKidd, on his newest case. Owen, for his part, was dealing with the end of his marriage to Teddy, Kim Raver, as she moved on with Cass, Sophia Bush. Owen had his own romantic development when he went out to dinner with Nora, Floriana Lima. Bailey Chunder Wilson was determined to help her patient with stage 4 cancer, which Lucas, Nico Taro, helped with, while Jules, Adelaide Kane, worked through an issue in her friendship with Simone, Alexis Floyd. As for Blue, Harry Shum Jr., he won points with his plastics fellow after allowing her to help Jackson. Grey's Anatomy airs on ABC Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time before streaming the next day on Hulu. Grey's Anatomy's Maggie actor wants spin-off series for Meredith's sister. The surprise return of Kelly McCreary's Maggie in Grey's Anatomy season, May 22nd, have opened the doors for a dedicated spin-off encapsulating the adventures of Meredith Grey's half-sister. In a recent interview, McCreary opened up about the idea of a Maggie-centered series, while also sharing her thoughts on what such a project would entail if ABC were to move ahead with it. Kelly McCreary thinks a Grey's Anatomy spin-off about Maggie would be so fun. The former Broadway actress recently revealed that she is fully on board to reprise her Grey's Anatomy role in a potential Maggie spin-off. "Oh, that would be so fun," Kelly McCreary remarked to Soaps.com. She added, "It would be really cool to check in with her on her own turf." As much as we see in this episode that she comes back and is the same Maggie, I've always been interested in knowing how she changes. McCreary also expressed that the ongoing events in Grey's Anatomy have already readied the field for such a spin-off to happen, noting, "I mean, all of a sudden, she decided to have a child with no support, all alone in another city. Or is she alone? What is her world like there? Who is her new chosen family in Chicago?" There's a lot to find out. The Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere saw the much-awaited return of Kelly McCreary's Maggie, who made a comeback after a season-long hiatus from the series. Following her return, Maggie informs her sisters of her pregnancy, which materialized thanks to a donor. Talking about what would happen in the proposed Grey's Anatomy spin-off, McCreary stated that she would like to see how Maggie reinvented herself after leaving Seattle. "When you're building a world from scratch and you're not seeking something out, but you're like making the thing, what would she choose?" So far, Grey's Anatomy has spawned a total of 3 spin-off shows. This includes Private Practice, Station 19, as well as Grey's Anatomy, B-Team. Therefore, a series specifically focusing on the story of Meredith's sister wouldn't be such a far-fetched idea. Sophia Bush is back to gay up Grey's Anatomy Season 22 when Sophia Bush swooped into last week's episode of Grey's Anatomy, and the episode ended with Teddy giving Dr. Cass Beckman a smooch. "I worried it was a fluke. A one-time thing Teddy would regret and back away from. A cliffhanger to tease us." After all, they've been dispatching queer characters left and right lately. Helm seemed to have vanished into the parking lot of no return. Beltran died in Jules' arms. Amelia went on sabbatical. So I thought poor Teddy would be trapped in her marriage to Owen, and we'd never hear about her bisexuality again. This week's episode opens with Teddy and Cass ankle rubbing and shoulder kissing and being late on purpose. Apparently, they've been having sexy times in Teddy's hotel for a week now, but today they're going to be late for work if they don't leave soon. Cass convinces Teddy to stay in bed a little longer by saying they can carpool, and while Teddy is worried about how that will look, Cass assures her that people carpool for plenty of reasons, not just sexy reasons. Teddy convinces herself that it's a good idea because it's better for the environment, and pretends it has nothing to do with the sexy doctor in her bed. One thing I want to note here is that far too often, on television shows, sexy sapphic kissing is either part of a montage or it cuts directly to straight people kissing. I don't know why this happens. I'm sure sometimes it's like, ah yes, kissing to kissing, great transition idea, but I always notice it and I never love it, and I really appreciated that it doesn't happen in this episode. Anyway, when Cass and Teddy get to the hospital, of course Owen is lurking outside like the nightmare creature that he is. Okay, fine, he's just helping Link leave the hospital, which of course makes Teddy start acting weird even though she could have just followed Cass's lead, who is cool as a cucumber. To make matters worse, Teddy's patient today is none other than Nora. I, for one, am never sad to see Floriana Lima's face, but all she does for Teddy is remind her of Owen and how their marriage is falling apart. While she's scanning Nora, Cass finds her and offers to help and is being so gentle and kind, and Teddy brushes her off and pulls away from her hand on her arm. Cass is smart and knows Teddy isn't saying what she means, so she asks if Teddy is acting like this because they ran into Owen, and Teddy snaps at her and says they're at work, not a hotel, and she needs to leave her alone. Cass leaves, annoyed, strutting her sleeveless blazer out into the hospital with her head held high. Teddy, to her credit, is very kind to Nora. She knows her problems with Owen aren't Nora's fault, and she's patient with her when she explains that there's nothing wrong, but that it wasn't a bother at all for her to come in. In fact, she even tells Nora that her and Owen are getting a divorce, in a way that very specifically does not lay blame on Nora, but instead opens a door. Because Teddy knows that Nora and Owen would make each other happy, and she does want that for them. Teddy finds Cass to apologize, and Cass hilariously retorts with, "Apparently I'm only capable of pillow talk." Teddy admits she was right. Running into Owen rattled her, and she wants to explain why. She's a soldier doctor, she likes tight hospital corners, and in fact, once won a competition about it, and sterile rooms, and right now her life is a mess all around her, and she really liked being in the hotel room bubble with Cass where things didn't feel quite so messy. They just felt happy. And she's afraid of that bubble bursting. Cass says that maybe letting their relationship leave the bubble wouldn't make it go away, but just make it bigger. Give Teddy more places where she can feel happy. Teddy says it might take her some time to adjust and would understand if Cass doesn't want to wait for her, but Cass says she wants to see those tight bedsheet corners. It's the most boring 3 words in the English language, and yet Sophia Bush manages to make them sound sexy as hell. Witchcraft. Teddy suggests they find an empty patient room, but with the clarity of someone who does not permanently reside in the weird heightened reality dimension that is Seattle Grace Mercy West Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital for the disaster-prone. This sounds very silly to her. They have a hotel room not too far away. The episode ends with Nora and Owen going on a date, which leaves me delusionally hopeful that we'll see more Cass in the future. And as someone who is in a toxic relationship with this show, this might have been the only thing that could have kept me watching after Beltran died so suddenly and horribly. And I know they know. But between the sunk cost fallacy, I don't know how long the go-with-the-flow, down-to-earth Cass is going to want to be sucked into the drama that tightly wound Teddy is sure to drag her into, and I have a feeling that we could end up in a place where Teddy catches real feelings and Cass is just down for a good time, not a long time. But no matter where it goes or how it ends, if it means we get more Sophia Bush being cute and queer on our screen, swaggering around in looks that would make Brooke Davis swoon, I'm 100% here for. See Jesse Williams' big return to Grey's Anatomy. In First Look, Jackson Avery and Meredith Grey have reunited at Gray Sloan Memorial. News exclusive First Look at Grey's Anatomy's October 30th episode shows Jesse Williams making a highly anticipated return to medical drama for a tense scene alongside Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey in Season 22. In the new clip, Meredith confronts Jackson about a troubling study performed by Tom Korosik, Greg German, a fellow former Gray Sloan Memorial surgeon who published misleading Alzheimer's research findings. He only studied male mice, she says of the befuddling case in the teaser. I did the same experiment with female mice, and when I gave them antibiotics there was no decrease in Alzheimer's. So now, since he's gone public, people will assume that what's true for male mice is true for all mice. When she continues to pester him about the experiment, Jackson calls her out for leaving her lab, completely unused, and accuses her of not publishing anything amid her elongated stint back in Seattle after relocating to Boston full-time in Season 19 to focus on her Alzheimer's research. Maybe instead of hiding out here all summer, he adds, you could be figuring this out. Indeed, Ellen may have left Grey's Anatomy behind as a series regular in 2023, but she has been a fixture of Season 22 thus far, and isn't the only way she's continued to contribute to the ABC procedural. In addition to remaining on as an executive producer, the 55-year-old still records voiceovers for all of the series episodes. For Ellen, she chose to step down from her starring role so she could focus on new passions. I gotta mix it up a little bit, she explained on the Drew Barrymore show in 2022. My brain is like scrambled eggs. I gotta do something new. You can't do the New York Times crossword puzzle every single day. As for Jesse, who has likewise periodically guest starred on the show since his 2021 departure, The 44-year-old previously reflected on what his time on Grey's meant to him. The experience and endurance born of creating nearly 300 hours of leading global television is a gift I'll carry always, he shared in a statement to E! News when he exited. I am immensely proud of our work, our impact, and to be moving forward with so many tools, opportunities, allies, and dear friends. Episode 4 of Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on ABC at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, October 30th. In the meantime, find out what other doctors who left Grey Sloan are up to now. Isaiah Washington as Preston Burke. In Season 3, Burke abandoned Christina at the altar and then just took off, eventually winning a Harper Avery Award elsewhere, and then at some point, moving to Zurich, Switzerland to open his own high-tech hospital. He got married, started a family, and then in Season 10, he invited Christina to his hospital to take it over for him as he retired. Isaiah Washington left the series after it was reported that he called co-star TR Knight a gay slur during an argument on set with Patrick Dempsey, and all his defenses just kept making it worse before he finally was let go from the series. Apparently, he and ABC made up, because they let him return for a second in 2014. As for what Washington has said of the incident, he later issued a public apology, adding in another statement, I can also no longer deny to myself that there are issues I obviously need to examine within my own soul, and I've asked for help. Katherine Heigl as Izzy Stevens. Izzy Stevens got cancer, married Alex Karev, survived the cancer, and then sorta just disappeared in Season 6. She eventually returned for a second and admitted she didn't feel like Seattle was her home anymore. Later, Alex got sent divorce papers, and now we know Izzy secretly had Alex's twins, lives on a ranch in Kansas, and became a surgical oncologist. Katherine Heigl's exit basically began in 2008 when she withdrew her name from Emmy consideration because she didn't feel like the material deserved it. In 2010, the character disappeared completely. She said in the years since that she would like to return to the character, but creator Shonda Rhimes did not. I'm done with that story, she told TV Line in 2015. Heigl, then a burgeoning rom-com star, went on to star in a few more rom-coms before returning to TV with State of Affairs, then Doubt, and more recently, she had an arc Suits and starred in Firefly Lane until it ended in 2023. Edward Herrmann as Intern Norman. Intern Norman arrived in Season 4 and had to fend off assumptions that he was an attending, rather than an intern, due to his age. He messed up and told the wrong patient she was dying, and later he collapsed and had a stroke. He had surgery to remove the blood clot and decided after his surgery that he was going to transfer to psych. Edward Herrmann, a fairly legendary actor, is mostly widely known as Richard Gilmore on Gilmore Girls. He also appeared in several episodes of The Good Wife, Harry's Law, and even American Dad before his death in 2014. Callie Rocha as Sydney Heron. Sydney was the perky resident who took over for Bailey during her maternity leave and drove everyone crazy with her perkiness. She even went on a date with Derek at one point, but sort of disappeared in early Season 4. She briefly reprised her role for Season 21 in 2024. Callie Rocha most recently starred on Disney's Liv and Maddie and Man with a Plan Plus, a 2024 episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. TR Knight as George O'Malley. One of the biggest tearjerkers on this list, at the end of Season 5, George had just decided to enlist as a trauma surgeon in the Army and was on his way to do so when he saved a woman from getting hit by a bus, only to be hit himself. He was in such bad shape when he got to the hospital that no one recognized him until he used his finger to write his nickname, 007, in Meredith's hand. They were unable to save him, and he tragically died. After several tumultuous seasons behind the scenes, including Isaiah Washington using the F-word while allegedly referring to him, Knight struggled with some of George's storylines and the fact that George barely appeared in the beginning of Season 5 and asked to be released from his contract. Knight returned to Shondaland in 2017 for an arc on The Catch and has also appeared on The Good Wife, November 22nd, 63, and Genius, among other series. In 2019, he started voice acting for The Bravest Knight before departing in 2024. He also appeared in HBO Max series The Flight Attendant with Kaylee Cuoco between 2020 and 2022. He also returned to Grey's for one episode to meet Meredith during her COVID-19 coma in Season 17. Brooke Smith as Erica Hahn. Erica Hahn and Callie Torres started a relationship that really may have gone somewhere, until Erica learned about the time Izzy Stevens cut Denny Duquette's LVD wire in attempts to save his life. The heart that then went to Denny was taken from one of Erica's patients. When Callie refused to report the situation, Erica up and left the relationship and her job in early season 5. Brooke Smith went on to appear in Bosch, Bates Motel, Supergirl, The Good Doctor, Chicago Med, and The Good Fight, and the 2019 film Bombshell. Most recently, she had arcs in Ryan Murphy's Grotesquerie, The Recruit, and The Hunting Party. Brandon Scott as Intern Ryan. Intern Ryan disappeared in early season 6, and Brandon Scott most recently starred on Netflix's Dead to Me, 13 Reasons Why, This Is Us, and The Good Doctor. Molly Kidder as Intern Megan. For all the drama that most Grey's interns tend to cause, Megan just may take the scalpel. She got into a love triangle with Steve and Pierce as she was dating Pierce, but slept with Steve, and then Pierce wanted to kill Steve, and Megan got pregnant by Steve, and then she later married Steve, and she hasn't been seen since season 6 after Derek Shepherd rehired her. Molly Kidder has done a few acting gigs since Grey's, including a guest spot on Outsourced in 2010 and some independent films. She also appeared as an extra in Ghosts in 2025. Joe Williamson as Intern Pierce. Pierce, one corner of the Megan Pierce-Steve love triangle, was eventually fired in a round of layoffs and left in season 6. Joe Williamson has since appeared on shows like Here and Now and the 2019 film Ford v Ferrari with Christian Bale and Matt Damon. Mark Saul as Intern Steve. Steve was the other corner of the intern love triangle, eventually marrying Megan and fathering her child. Steve survived the layoffs and made it all the way to season 8, only to never be seen again. Mark Saul has appeared on other TV shows since his mysterious disappearance from Grey's, like Franklin and Bash, Mom, The Great Indoors, Grace and Frankie, Modern Family, and I Think You Should Leave. Sarah Utterback as Nurse Olivia. Nurse Olivia was laid off during the merger with Mercy West in season 6, but returned for a moment in season 14 when her son swallowed a toy while she was visiting her parents in Seattle. Of course, her son was treated by Alex, the guy who once gave her syphilis, and she had a lot of time to talk to Joe, his then-fiancé. Sarah Utterback has made a few TV appearances in the years since leaving Grey's in 2009, including on the shows Reception and Mysteries of Laura. In 2024, she had a small role in 911. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere review. Season 22 of Grey's Anatomy premiered on ABC this past Thursday. The episode picked up right where we left off, with Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital blowing up once again. After the staff was told the gas tank that was being used to hold some of the doctors hostage was empty, it turns out it really wasn't. Due to this, in the finale of Season 21, as Meredith walked away, we saw a big explosion come from the floor yet again. This episode picks up from there with so much drama to unfold. In this episode, we see Link getting injured and almost dying, and Dr. Monica Beltran actually dying. Surgeries are being performed in staircases and in the clinic. On top of that, keeping a critically ill patient alive to get Seattle Perez, there was so much drama to unfold during the hour-long season premiere. Which is why I needed a week to write this and get my thoughts all in one place. While people are mad that Owen Hunt is still such a big character in the show, and as much as people don't like him, I feel the show may not be the same without him, as he has become an essential character since his debut in Season 5 of the show. Since he has become such an essential character to the plot of the show, I don't see him going anywhere until the show eventually ends. Overall, my thoughts on the episode are very strong. I happen to have really liked this episode and give it an 8 out of 10. I just wish there was more to the story and that they wouldn't use a storyline they have used before in previous seasons. I think we have seen the hospital blow up, maybe one too many times. But it was a great way to start the new season. I am a little worried for Amelia, though, because it seems like she will spiral out of control yet again. Anyways, the next episode airs tomorrow night, October 16th, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. Grey's Anatomy turns into Apology Fest after an upsetting encounter. The apologies were flowing on Thursdays, October 30th, new edition of Grey's Anatomy. First, Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, had to apologize to Cass Beckman, Sophia Bush, for being short with her at work, and Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, said his sorries to Atticus Link Lincoln, Chris Carmack, for snapping at him repeatedly throughout the day as well. Both of these slights stemmed from mixed feelings about the breakup that were exacerbated by some very awkward encounters. Owen was bummed to see Teddy carpooling to work with her new pseudo-girlfriend, and Teddy had to treat Nora Floriana Lima for chest pains, which turned out to be mere indigestion. All's well that ends well, though, because neither Owen nor Teddy went home alone, or with each other. Elsewhere in the episode, Jackson Avery, Jesse Williams, returned to the hospital from Boston to perform reconstructive surgery on a breast cancer survivor, and he went toe-to-toe with Meredith Grey Ellen Pompeo, after the patient turned out to have an inguinal hernia that Meredith said could be fixed alongside the plastics procedure. Avery didn't like that call, or the slight complication the double operation caused on the table, but in the end, he had to go with his own hat in hand and admit to Mare that she was right to make it. Meredith wasn't the only one who looked good after that operation. Ben Warren, Jason George, also shown, both figuratively and literally, during the procedure, leading Miranda Bailey, Chunder Wilson, to conclude that maybe plastics was the specialty he should pursue, with her blessing to add 3 more years of residency to do so, too. Jackson also offered Meredith a ride home on his private jet after they both realized that her summering in Seattle was interrupting her research flow and allowing Tom Korosik, of all people, to outpace her in publishing research similar to hers that didn't include female test subjects. After delivering her regrets to Richard Weber, James Pickens Jr., who'd already predicted she'd depart back to Boston as soon as he heard about Tom's paper and took it like a champ, she left the hospital once again. The episode also saw Benson Kwan, Harry Shum Jr., falling short of membership into the Plastics Posse, while newcomer Kavita Mohanty Anita Kalathara was granted entry after her quick thinking during Jackson's procedure. Meanwhile, Jules Millen's Adelaide Kane, elderly roommate, decided to get married, and Simone Griffiths, Alexis Floyd, took it personally that Millen didn't want to move in with her, until she learned that the reason Millen lives in a retirement community is that no one there can hear well enough to get upset by her array of alarm clocks due to being a deep sleeper. Plus, a horse hobbyist kid's injury allowed Link to get back to work sooner than anyone expected, and Lucas Adams, Nico Taro, took a special interest in the case of Katie Rogers, Samantha Marie Ware, Miranda's gastric cancer patient who now desperately needs a clinical trial after being diagnosed at stage 4. His interest in oncological surgery might be sincere, but it sure looks like he might be catching feelings for her, too. Watch this space. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 OTT release. Know where to watch it online? One of the most anticipated seasons of Grey's Anatomy has finally landed on your digital screens. Created by Shonda Rhimes, Grey's Anatomy has returned with its Season 22, which will center around the catastrophic explosion that led the doctors, staff, and the entire hospital into chaos. From Dr. Monica Beltran losing her life to the blast to Dr. Atticus Lincoln surviving the attack with critical injuries, this season is expected to be high on emotions and intense sequences. When and where to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Season 22 of Grey's Anatomy is now streaming on GeoHotstar. New episodes drop each Friday. The viewers will require an active subscription to watch it online. Official trailer and plot of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Season 22 picks up right from the moment where Season 21 ended with a catastrophic blast, which was caused by cauterization tool sparking gas. This season will explore the aftermath of the explosion, leading to the stress and trauma surfacing around the doctors. Likewise, the doctors will be confronted with impossible surgical decisions and the challenges of rebuilding the hospital. Season 22 will be a lot more intense, and the sequences are expected to be filled with a blend of emotions and hope. Cast and crew of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. This series features prominent and familiar faces like Ellen Pompeo, Chunder Wilson, Kevin McKidd, Justin Chambers, James Pickens Jr., and more. Also this season, there will be new additions too. The music composition of the series has been delivered by Danny Lux. Reception of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. The season was released digitally on October 10, 2025. It received a remarkable response from the audience and the critics. The overall IMDb rating of the show is 7.6/10. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 Spoilers. Link and Owen are back and Jackson returns. After missing the previous episode, Link and Owen are back in Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4, and the promo wants to highlight that. Their returns aren't the only ones highlighted in the episode, another surprise awaits for the season. Kelly McCreary guest starred in Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 2, and now it's the turn of her stepbrother, Jackson Avery. Jo wanted Link to deal with this, but he's still in the hospital. But that's about to change. Hopefully, he likes the car that Jo ended up negotiating with Teddy's help, as he's likely going home in it, as the promo makes it clear that Link is being discharged in Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4. On top of that, we'll get to see more of Owen Hunt, as he is outside with Link at the time. Teddy and Cass turn up at the hospital, and I'm curious as to why Cass is there. In the previous episode, Cass was around to get her husband's wallet, but this time, she could be in the hospital for surgery, as it was established that she sometimes floats between hospitals in Seattle. This is more likely to create friction and drama in the episode, as Owen doesn't like the fact that Cass was the reason Teddy asked for an open relationship. Owen and Teddy drama continues in a way. He likely blames Cass for his separation from Teddy, and he definitely doesn't want to see the two of them together. That's sure to affect things when Nora turns back up at the hospital, which one of the images from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 indicates. In Grey's Anatomy Season 21, Owen ended up sleeping with Nora under the terms of the open relationship, and now he gets the opportunity to attempt a relationship with her. However, Owen has a bad habit of moving on to other women far too quickly. He really needs to learn how to be single before trying another relationship. Of course, Nora doesn't know his history as well as we do, so she's sure to make the mistake of starting something with him. Owen is in the episode for other reasons as well, since a major trauma arrives at the hospital. It's going to be all hands on deck for the interns and second-year residents. Jackson Avery is back. Meanwhile, the hospital drama will continue for Meredith, as Jackson returns with some harsh words. It turns out that Korsik's findings in the Alzheimer's research have been published, with Jackson supporting it. Of course, Meredith knows the flaw in those findings. Korsik only tested male mice, as he admitted that the hormones in female mice disrupted the testing too much. Well, wouldn't you know it, this is what's going to happen with the medication in humans. It's an alarming flaw in the testing, and something Meredith wanted the chance to pursue, but once she failed to secure funding for her own research, it went on hold. Jackson is annoyed at her for this. She has spent the summer at Gray Sloan Memorial rather than being back in Boston to work in her lab, which is all set up for her there, and it sounds like he wants her to put Korsik's findings to the test by using female mice. Of course, it's not all that easy, with Catherine Fox determining much of what happens with the research, but if Jackson wants it, maybe he can talk his mom into it. It looks like Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 will be the last episode we see of Meredith for some time, as we know she will no longer appear in every episode of the season. Still, she will continue to narrate the voiceover. The episode's synopsis does hint that Jackson is there for more than just getting Meredith back to Boston, though. The interns juggle a bizarre trauma, while a complex breast reconstruction forces Meredith into a tense partnership. There's a complex breast reconstruction surgery on the books, and we all know that Jackson Avery is one of the best in plastics. The tension in the operating room will be high, and the new plastics fellow is sure to feel uncomfortable. Bailey's cancer patient. At the end of Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3, Bailey had to deliver the bad news to her patient, Katie, who now has tumors on her liver. Her gastric cancer is spreading, and now Bailey is worried. Naturally, as the Gray Sloan Memorial GOAT, Bailey will do everything she can to save Katie's life. The problem is that there are few options for someone with tumors on the liver, and those tumors are most likely cancerous. Once the cancer has spread to the liver, it's difficult to fight against it, but Bailey will look out for options, and she's sure to get Lucas on the case as well. One thing I'd love to see is more focus on Lucas's ADHD in Grey's Anatomy, and this could be a great episode for that, given the big trauma in this situation. It's not likely to happen, though, as it seems that Diagnosis was brought in for a couple of storylines for Nick and then forgotten about. I do have to wonder if Bryant will work with Bailey and Lucas, or if he'll end up annoying Simone in the trauma surgery. A new intern. In a way, I'd love for an episode without that love triangle drama, but it's too early in the story for that to be dropped. There is at least a new intern joining the story, and this seems to be someone Lucas enjoys working with. But will this poor kid crash out in his first surgery? Grey's Anatomy airs on Thursdays at October 9th on ABC. Grey's Anatomy star Patrick Dempsey reveals what's next for him first, Dempsey has two projects he's working on, The Limit and Fodors, along with taking the rest of the year off to develop. He said, "I would like to be a producer. I would commit to a show that is 10 to 12 episodes. But 24 episodes, again, I don't know if I would do that. It's a very hard life. It's financially rewarding, but there comes a point where how much is enough, really?" Then there's home life, where Dempsey is focusing on being a father to my children, who include a daughter, Tallulah, and twin sons, Sullivan and Darby. Finally, he has his racing. In fact, he was training overseas when the shocking episode aired Thursday night. Dempsey added that he knew his fate on Grey's, probably back in February or March. When it comes to the end of an era, he said, "Shepard is a beloved character. People don't want to lose him. But it goes on, and it will evolve." Grey's Anatomy Season 22 welcomes back original star 4 years later. 4 years after leaving Grey's Anatomy as a series regular, Jesse Williams will be back as Dr. Jackson Avery in the next episode of the hit ABC medical drama series. A promo for the episode has been released, teasing his return as well as a tense exchange with Ellen Pompeo's Dr. Meredith Grey. Williams was introduced in Grey's Anatomy back in the Season 6 episode Invasion as Dr. Avery, a surgical resident formerly from Mercy West Medical Center, following its merger with Seattle Grace Hospital. He was promoted to series regular the following season, a role he held until Season 17, when Jackson left Seattle to run the Catherine Fox Foundation in Boston. Williams has returned 3 times since his departure back in 2021, with his upcoming appearance in Goodbye Horses set to mark his 4th. Check out the promo for Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4, Goodbye Horses, below. Williams' Dr. Jackson Avery isn't the only former series regular to return to Grey's Anatomy this season. Kelly McCreary, who was a main cast member from Seasons 11 to 19, made a surprise appearance in the second episode of Season 22, We Built This City, where she announced that she was pregnant. Grey's Anatomy has welcomed back several departed fan favorites over the years, most notably in Season 17, when Patrick Dempsey, T.R. Knight, Kyler Lee, and Eric Dane returned as Dr. Derek Shepard, Dr. George O'Malley, Dr. Lexi Gray, and Dr. Mark Sloan, respectively, for a storyline revolving around Meredith Grey battling COVID-19 while imagining herself on a beach, which allowed for the deceased characters to return. Grey's Anatomy's cast has changed quite a bit since Season 1. As of Season 22, only 3 cast members have appeared in every season of Grey's Anatomy: Pompeo, Chunder Wilson, and James Pickens Jr. However, since Season 19, Pompeo has stepped back from the ABC medical drama, appearing less frequently as Dr. Meredith Grey despite retaining main cast member billing. As a result, the show has shifted to more of an ensemble, placing more focus on the other doctors at the fictional hospital Grey plus Sloan Memorial. For Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Pompeo is expected to appear in just 7 of the 18 episodes, although showrunner Meg Marinas stated in September 2025 that she would jump at the chance to have the actor appear in more episodes, stating, "The more we get Ellen, the happier I am. So if we can get her more, I'd love it." Pompeo isn't the only main cast member who will appear in fewer episodes this season, as the Season 22 renewal back in April 2025 revealed that most of the veteran cast members would see a reduction of their episodic guarantees. The only actors who are expected to appear in all 18 episodes are Wilson and Pickens as Dr. Miranda Bailey and Dr. Richard Weber, respectively. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.